Remain standing for the land acknowledgement statement. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Salamanca City Central School District acknowledges the homeland of the Anandawaka, the people of the Great Hill, the Seneca people on whose ancestral and modern-day land Salamanca School District now stands and whose water we enjoy. We stand with all Indigenous peoples in their resolve to remain connected to their land. While we cannot undo what has been done, it is the goal of the Salamanca City Central School District to recognize the history and make improvements that will benefit the next 7 generations of Indigenous students. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Just as a note, Mr. Colton, Mr. John, and Ms. Cassini are all excused tonight. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Right, then I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Tad, second by Brad. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carried.
I'm sorry, was that Brad and Tad?
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, it was Tad and Brad.
Okay.
Whichever way you want to run it. Tad was first. All right, first we have our public hearing on the code of conduct.
All right.
Mr. Long, on down.
So,
You're gonna get the
Very-
trifecta here, so.
Oh, wow, good.
Yeah. First, thanks for letting us present on this tonight. We don't necessarily have a PowerPoint as we feel is needed, as there's not many changes to the code. Annually, we have to hold our formal public session to get feedback from teachers in the community. We solicited this through student feedback, our meeting, and also a survey. Some highlights that came up in it were cell phones, dress code, and where AI fits in with plagiarism. I'm gonna let Ms. Berry talk about cell phones and
So one of the things that came up was the use of cell phones in school, and it was pretty much a mixed review, especially from parents and teachers, with the majority leaning more towards the side of we don't want them in the classrooms because they serve as a significant distraction. So that's already been addressed in the code of conduct. I believe we made that change 2 years ago. That students are allowed to have them, but they are to remain out of sight during the instructional hours. So we kind of started that policy at Seneca Intermediate 2 years ago by sending cell phone contracts, things that students and parents needed to sign. And so we're going to continue to maintain that and make sure that we're consistent across all 3 buildings going into the school year.
we'll go on to dress code and hats.
Okay, so another topic that came up was to consider, so in the code, it says on page 11, hats and hoods are not to be worn on heads in the building. So a consideration was, could we allow hats and still not hoods? So we had discussed that. We discussed as an admin team, we discussed at the forum. We really thought long and hard around whether or not it would be a distraction to the learning environment. And also ultimately that our end goal is to prepare kids for college and careers and life after school. So there's a lot of different jobs and different places where you're not allowed to wear a hat. So at this point in time, we are asking that it stay in place. The hats and hoods are not allowed to be worn in the building.
And the last part of the code dealt with plagiarism, and as we have an existing part of the code that exists, we just wanted to add to it and make an amendment to clarify some of the bullet points that I think you have in front of you. That all work is considered to be the student's own creative work. No external sources, including generative AI, are to be used unless assigned by the teacher to do so, as it can be a tool to teach kids how to use it for learning as opposed to just plagiarizing. Any used sources need to be listed on the student's assignment according to the citation style given by the teacher. And this may vary on the grade level or class, as it's a progressive learning curve on the citation. Collaborating on work is a team effort, which means all parties contribute to thinking and work. If it is not a team effort, it is copying and would be treated as such. And then the last bullet there, academic misconduct will earn the score of 0% on any assignment, including research.
Okay. So I do have a couple questions. So for the hats, is that something that if the students really want to pursue it, that they should go through student government, like to come in and present, kind of like what we've done with other things? Is that an option that you're giving to the students if they really feel strongly about it, to come up with their own policy?
About wearing the hat like as an individual or as a collective across the school?
Just as a collective across the school?
So we did have some student government meetings and the students were, as you might suspect, in favor of wearing hats. But as a admin team and moving forward, we felt we needed more input from the staff and the community. But ultimately, we have the obligation to prepare them for life after school and being ready for that. And many careers don't allow for a hat to be worn. So we want to stay consistent until we get more feedback or maybe change opinions.
Okay. And then with cell phones, so I know that we said the kids can have them on them, but they have to keep them out of sight. What happens if they're not? Like, are the teachers taking them? What's the recourse if kids aren't following the protocol? And does that also go with watches that you can text on?
That's something that we battle daily, obviously with as new tech comes out, earbuds, watches, any other device. We are asking teachers to manage their classroom and hold students accountable within the classroom. As far as taking devices, it becomes a struggle, admin to be intervening and working with the parents and the students.
And it is written right in our code, violations may result in the confiscation of the electronic device and or other disciplinary action. So
Okay.
it's worded in there already, and that also is included in our cell phone contract that goes.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
You, just so everybody's on the same page, when we talk about generative AI, just make sure we all know what that is.
So I don't know if you're aware of ChatGPT or anything along that lines. It's reasonable to say that, and I've seen it in college, as my own son's in college, his roommate actually lost credit for a course. Put in a prompt, please create an essay regarding these bullet points and give me 3 sources, and within a matter of seconds, it's there. It's not 100%. The user still has to observe it and modify it and tweak it to their own liking. But it is a form of cheating if used in that capacity. But it's also a tool that we can use to enhance the learning environment. We sat through a short training at our retreat where the superintendent from Grand Island presented about the power of it for teachers, where they can input an assessment and ask for generative AI to create assessment questions that address these standards. So as we look at standards within the classroom that maybe we've gotten our results back and we're at a deficit. Hey, use this tool to differentiate your lesson, address the standards, and create a question base so that we can continue to monitor students' progress towards meeting the standard. So it's a tool that can be used for the bad or for the good, as many things in this life. I don't know if that was the exact definition you're looking for, but I'm jacked about it, using it in the correct way. But when we look at it and what could happen in harmful ways, we have to monitor that and
As well, yeah. Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Is there any way, like, so I'm sure that there already is, but like, what ways do teachers have, like, if to be able to detect if a student is using?
we have, I think the traditional one that we've used is Turnitin, so they're able to submit a student's essay into Turnitin, and it, I believe using AI is able to detect, is this the student's own work, or is it coming from a generator, or is it completely plagiarized? We've been fighting this for, right? Probably when Brad and I were in school, we used encyclopedias and we didn't cheat, but some people did, and then we worked towards the internet and copy paste, but teachers are able to detect it.
That software creates a percentage of how much of that piece of writing is their own versus taken from somewhere else, and also creates a database of students from years prior. So to eliminate the
Oh, wow.
possibility of
Well,
reusing
there's-
essays and maybe another student has written. Yep.
And with that, teachers can set a threshold. 10% can be.
I was just gonna say, so like, does that affect their score then if this person made a mistake once and only used it, maybe used it for one paragraph? Will they get a 0 on that whole assignment, or will they be redacted, 10% or 20% or something?
And
like that?
that's why we're asking for these bullet points, because it allows the teacher to say, hey, this is where you can use it or where you
Okay,
can't.
gotcha.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Have more?
What did you say? One of the interesting things is that, generative AI creates essentially original work. Like when we were in school, you just cut and paste it, right? You found it. The difference now is that generative AI will literally generate something that doesn't exist anywhere else. And we felt it was necessary, and I'm gonna thank Polly Hansen for the work that she did, because she's been sort of, I guess, on the front lines of this as the library media specialist at the high school. Students didn't necessarily recognize that asking, let's say, take ChatGPT to generate an essay that has never been written or read before, and then taking that and claiming it as your own, they didn't recognize that that's plagiarism, right? Because it wasn't something that they sort of cut and pasted. But the reason that we're inserting this paragraph is because we need people to recognize that plagiarism is really taking or saying that it's your work when it's somebody or something else's work. So what this really does is just clarify in a little bit greater detail what plagiarism is. And now says, look at specifically things that are generated through artificial intelligence. If you take it and claim it as your own, that's essentially a new form of plagiarism.
Okay. Anywhere else? Got it? No. Thank you. Public communications, do we have anybody, Jana?
What was the?
Title VI. Hi, Aaron, how are you?
See you guys.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, I don't really have much tonight, but I did want to clarify, are you guys meeting next week too? As well? Yes. So maybe a few things next week, as you'll see on the agenda next week, there's another out of state overnight trip that we have for a couple staff that are trying to do this new kind of bilingual initiative program that's helping. The idea is to help transition a lot of faith keepers students, some school that are transitioning out, being around 9 years old from that school to come into public schools, whether it's our school or in school, really in the area. We discovered that really this year, and this has been an issue in the past of having students coming into our school, maybe not feeling the most comfortable with the environment or the transition or the support staff or whatever it may be with that student's bilingual issue or transition. So it's kind of been a talk with Lindsay Happel and the MAC team and with Rachel and Andrea Cook, kind of creating this initiative or program. Really, it's kind of an idea. We started as an idea, and they had brought me on really asking for potential funding to go to a conference that's in New Mexico, and it's it's like called La Cosa or La Cosecha. It's a bilingual conference, and it's kind of like NIEA in a way. It's multi-day, and like all day long is constant trainings and programs and school visits and all different kinds of things with programs that are in New Mexico that have these kind of programs already in their schools to help students transition into the classroom comfortably and feel comfortable using their language, potentially helping students that are in our classroom that are non-native with language and things like that as well. So again, I'm not doing it any justice. So next week, I'm going to have them just say a few words because they presented to the Indigenous Parent Committee, and they ate it right up. They love the idea of having like a biliteracy, seal of biliteracy student graduating with a seal of biliteracy, as there is a few students in the surrounding areas that have done that. I think 2 from Silver Creek, 1 from Onondaga, Students have graduated with the seal of literacy. So again, as so much information, I just was brought on board, so I know I'm not doing it really much justice. So when they come in, maybe have able to present, I'm not sure if I was gonna ask if they wanted them to maybe sign the paper to present, or if they could just take my time. And whenever we ask for Title VI, they can just kind of do their little quick, like I think it's like 5 to 6 slide PowerPoint. Maybe 5 to 10 minutes if that on a presentation about that initiative / program. Because I feel like it's really important for you guys to at least know the idea of what of everything in their eyes. Again, and so really bringing me on board to look for the funding to get 2 of them to New Mexico in November. So all that paperwork is in process and going in IPC, and I loved it. And we ended up saving quite a bit of money by sending less people to NIE this year as well. So kind of the money that was already going to be put to that conference was agreed upon to now be put to this conference.
Yeah.
So it was cool to have that opportunity. Again, they'll be able to do that next week. So really that's the big thing. Other than just having a bunch of exciting collaboration with staff and coaches, we're doing, right now we have 6 halftime show games booked for fun, little exciting cultural events, dance performances, language, start to bring that. We have assemblies already booked, contracts signed for that. This year for like MMIW and Every Child Matters events and things like that. I'm gonna work with Lloyd on really nailing down the exact date for the Every Child Matters one. Really because we were leaning on a lot of the Indigenous Youth Council students for a lot of that stuff last year with presentations and all the dates and things like that and how they wanted to prepare. Being that we don't have students right now, that's kind of a little hard. So Shay is kind of getting that ball going and we're gonna be setting those dates down. The only other thing is IPC met and had approved and motion to approve, and it was carried to have meet at 5 p.m. instead of 6 p.m. to help with the IEC moving to 4. As we have some people like Tracy that wears both hats and it comes to both meetings. So just to be more convenient for everybody in that case. So that was, and then as well as instead of meeting so many times every single month, we knocked it down to every other month this year. So I do have the dates. I can just say those dates real quick just to be on the record. So we're gonna be meeting officially. So we did meet in August, just kind of initial meeting. So officially we're gonna start meeting in September. So that'll be September 11th at 5 p.m. November or October 13th and January 8th, March 12th, and May 14th. They're all at 5 p.m. And if unless otherwise known by social media at school, it's going to be in the LGI. So that's really all the really important things.
Well, thank you. As far as the presentation, do we want to just want to do
Yeah,
it during your time or?
Like if you wanted to maybe have them sign up for public communication time, or just I can just have them take my time. I don't need really any time next week.
Yeah, we'll make it a formal, yeah, we'll set it as a formal presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know how to go about that necessarily, so I didn't know if they just came in and signed it, just.
Oh,
did it,
just
or
let me know.
Preemptively letting you know.
I'll let the
now,
boss
or-
know, and then we're all set.
Okay.
All right.
Next week.
Let's
Like that.
Yeah.
So it's on
Yeah.
record.
Yep.
We'll be at Prospect.
Yes. So next week we are at
Oh,
Prospect.
sorry, okay.
So we are at Prospect.
Thank you.
And if you could just send me the PowerPoint so that I have it for record.
Yes, I
Thank
can
you.
even do that right now. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
guys.
John.
This time.
Excellent.
All right, we'll move on to central office message. We'll start with Dr. Contrello.
Well, everybody, I'd like to, let's start by saying, we learned a lot with summer school this summer. Tried a few different things. And we haven't really had a chance to analyze all data because people were teaching their tail feathers off and then just headed for the hills after that. So it was kind of hard to get together with everybody that did the teaching. But we have looked at some preliminary data and we'll be doing more. The principals will probably be doing more with the coordinators, the RTI coordinators who headed up the programs in each of the three buildings. And we have a whole battery of questions that they've already started putting some things, but we kind of need everybody to be there to weigh in to be able to make some good decisions for next year. And then lastly, I just wanted to say this will be my last Board of Ed meeting, and I want to thank everyone here for this amazing opportunity. I had a wonderful 12 months here. Worked with very special people that had a lot of heart and got a lot done. And I just wanted to thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you. Karen?
Yeah, I don't know. We're in full-blown audit, season right now. The auditors will be in next week, which is always fun. And, other than that, the only thing I have is to make the announcement that I've been appointed to the Davis Board, National Association of Federal Impacting Schools, representing Review 3, which is really not New York State, but I'm on the board at least, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
That's more money.
Which board was that, Karen?
NAFIS, it's the governing board over NISA belongs to NAFIS.
Okay. All right, then we will move on to our Board of Education message. Kristen, you want to start us off?
Yeah, well, first off, it's good to see everybody tonight. I hope everybody's summer and all the programs, planning, everything you guys got going on has been going well. Yeah, and thanks to Lloyd and everybody for our presentation today on the code of conduct and dress code, cell phone, AI, all that stuff's very important, and it's good to get some feedback, know what you guys are working on with that, so good job with that. Yeah, just I counted down the math, I've got 14 days till school starts, so I got 3 kids in the school this year, so I'm excited. I'll have some kids over there for you, hopefully keep them in line, you know. Yeah, other than that, you know, fall sports, I want to emphasize to the student athletes, you know, again, just continue to emphasize on the student aspect of the student athlete, you know. Let's continue to excel in the classroom and on the fields. And yeah, just keep pushing, keep being good representatives of the district. And yeah, just want to tell Camille, Dr. Pontrell, yes, thank you for all you've done, your dedication, and I wish you the very best in everything moving forward.
Thanks, Kristen. Ed?
It's always fun going after him. He covers everything.
I'm sorry, man.
I
can't leave it again.
Just wanted to thank everybody for coming out. No, it's dawning on everybody, I think. Some of us had already dawned on, some of us, like me as a parent, being a new child that's getting ready to go in the school system. Yeah, I don't know who's gonna get educated more, my child or me, in terms of all the paperwork and things to do as a first time go around. But enjoy just thanks for coming out, enjoying this last, like he said, 2 weeks before school gets kicked off. And get ready, the school year begins. Time flies by.
Sure does. Brad?
I want to wish best of luck to Dr. Pentrillo and to all the sports teams that have started and are going to be starting and enjoy the last 2 weeks. So,
I would just like to reiterate what I always do, that if there's new ideas, we want to hear them. Don't be afraid to reach out to the board, because we're always looking to think outside the box to make our kids smarter. I'm gonna say more successful now, smarter and more successful is what I come to terms with, that I like. We're always trying to come up with different things that'll engage the kids, so we're always willing to try to help whenever we can, so please let us know. Yeah, 2 weeks, it's hard to believe. Now, where'd the summer go? So thank you for all the hard work over the summer. I know summer school was a big chore, Dr. Pontrello, so, you know, we appreciate that, and we do wish you all the best of luck, and thank you for all the hard work that you did do for the district. And just excited to see everybody coming back. That's all I have. I'll turn it over to you.
Just a couple things. First and foremost, it is Miss Cook's birthday today. So.
Oh, yeah.
Birthday, Brandon.
I love birthdays.
You do. I have a whole month, Janet. I get it.
Just, a couple things that I just want to make sure we're bring attention to, over the next several weeks, there's going to be some pretty lengthy and extensive conversations regarding attendance across the board. We know that's one of our 4 board goals is to improve attendance. And we've been discussing quite a bit over the summer, taking a look at our existing attendance plan, comparing that with others across the region, gathering feedback from other stakeholders. So I know we'll talk a little bit about it next week, and then likely in September, there'll be some recommendations. We've taken an awful lot of actions on a positive side, and I want to thank Mr. Sponeyberger, Levi, for some of the great work. In fact, you should see at least some of our school board members. And this really came about from Levi's work. Little magnets. We're consistently doing our best to just promote the importance of being in school. We as a school district and you have provided an incredible quantity of resources for our students, as well as for our staff. But those are pretty much useless if students aren't here. So we will be promoting the importance of attendance. There are some videos that are out. So we're covering every aspect we can through social media, through print media, and most recently these spiffy little magnets that have the school calendar on the bottom, and then a tracker on the top for absences, so that you can sort of keep track where you're at. So again, just to thank you across the board to all those individuals that have been working on that, and particularly to Levi, because he'll take an idea, put it together, and all of a sudden there's something like a magnet or postcard sitting right on your desk. So thank you very much for that. There you go. I just wanted to echo the congratulations to Karen for getting appointed to the NAPIS board. That's a pretty big deal to have, not just to represent the region here, but for our region to be represented by one of our own employees. So congratulations, Karen. Well done. And then best wishes as Dr. Petrello continues her career and moves on. We wanted to just extend a warm thank you for the work that you've done here, and best wishes. And there's no doubt you'll be successful in your next ventures. So best wishes and thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
All righty then. Then we are gonna move on to the consent agenda. We need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Christian, second by Brad. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Oppose, abstain, motion carried. New business, we have our change order and our allowance disbursements. You're gonna see there are quite a few. So we need a motion to approve all of the change.
In this old business, sorry.
Did I?
Yeah.
How'd they do that? Oh, yeah, huh? Whoops,
Yeah.
I just was like, no, we're not doing that. Sorry. We're moving on. Sorry. Old business policies. Geez, after all that, we need a motion to approve number 5660, our meal charging and our prohibition against meal shaming. So we need a motion to approve that.
Motion.
Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Ted. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carried. New business, we have our change order and our allowance distribution. So we have quite a few that are all really have to do with either the turf or parking.
Parking lot primarily.
Yes. So we need a motion to approve all of the different change orders and allowance distributions.
Motion.
Motion by Christian,
Second.
second by Brad. Are there any questions on any of the change orders or allowance?
You want me to jump in a little bit?
If you want to.
Sure. So there's a significant number here and almost all of these. So the first one that you see, well, I can tell you, all of these are a result essentially of our requests. There's one here that was an unforeseen circumstance, but all of these are at our request. So the first one we see for A and F are catch basins that we asked while everybody's here, and it can be included in the project to be repaired over by the dumpsters. The next two are related to an expansion of the parking lot by about 35 spaces where the new track is going in place. So we had some additional property that we had acquired, and we have the ability to expand the parking lot. Parking is always an issue on this campus. So the two for Lakeshore are related to that. One is drainage, the other is excavation. And then the bottom two, so the large one for Lakeshore for $63,000 is a lot of the paving and work that's going into the addition of the parking lot, as well as a modification of a water line for the steeplechase that's going in. The last one for $22,000 are for additional light poles and lighting that's going in there. And then you'll see one for A-turf, which are additional letters that are going into the turf for the softball field. So many times when we see change orders, we're thinking these are a result of mistakes or problems or things that came up. These are all things that we requested. They will not result in an increase in cost of the project overall.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions on that? And we got a motion by Christian, second by Brad. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. And item B, we have items that we are declaring surplus. They're listed in the agenda. So we need a motion to approve all the items 1 through 19 as surplus.
Motion.
Motion by Brad. Second by Tad. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Item C is our contract with Epic. So we need a motion to approve the contract for $100,000 for the 24-25 school year. So we need a motion to approve the Epic contract.
Second.
Motion by Brad. Second by you, Christian. Second by Christian. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Next is our memorandum of agreement with St. Bonaventure University. And this is from July 30th of 24 through July 30th of 2026. So we need a motion to approve that MOA.
Motion.
Motion by Tad,
Second.
second by Brad. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Item E is our BOCES contracted transportation for St. Mary's School for the Deaf. And that is going to begin September 1st, 2024 through June 30th of 2025 at a cost of $110,440. So we need a motion to approve that contract.
Motion.
Motion by Christian,
Second.
second by Tad. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Item F is our Medicaid contract that we need a resolution so that we can bill and transmit the proper information for Medicaid. So we need a motion to approve that resolution.
Motion.
Motion by Tad,
Second.
second by Brad. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Question is what it seems. Item G is our contract for Seneca Nation of Indians Head Start. And this contract is for 24-25. So we need a motion to approve the agreements for SNI and Head Start.
Motion.
Motion by Christian,
Second.
second by Brad. Are there any questions?
Yes, it's just the same thing we did as last year, right? With them.
We do it every year.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. The funding for, and you'll see a similar one for the Cattaraugus and Wyoming counties project Head Start. So the funding comes to the school district, so essentially flows through the school district. So we need to be able to have a contract with each one of these agencies in order for them to provide this service.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we got a motion by Christian, second by Brad, all in favor? Aye.
Right.
Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Item H is our contract with CAT and Wyoming County Project Head Start. Same thing, this is for $56,063 for 24-25. So we need a motion to approve that contract.
Motion.
Motion by Tad,
Second.
second by Brad. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Item I is our purchasing cooperatives. We need a motion to approve purchasing cooperative agreements. Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Christian. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Item J, we are creating a unified bocce program. So we need a motion to approve the creation of this program.
Motion.
Motion by Christian,
Second.
second by Tad. Are there any
Yeah, this is
questions?
kind of exciting, actually. Actually, Chad's not here. Oh, I get to talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Say hi.
So this is a new, yes, a new competitive program for our unified sports program. There are several districts in the area who will be competing in bocce. So, any opportunity that we have for our special education students to work in a unifying manner with our regular education students, really is pretty exciting. So this will be a fun program.
Awesome,
Yeah.
it's exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, well, we have a motion by Christian, second by Tad, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Item K is our code of conduct for 24-25 that was presented earlier tonight. Very much again. So we need a motion to approve the code of conduct.
Motion.
Motion by Tad,
Second.
second by Brad. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Item 8 is our personnel consent agenda. We have our personnel action number 1. Our personnel action number 2. Our personnel action number 3. And our personnel action number 4, which is items 8A through 8D. So we need a motion to approve items 8A through items 8A, B, C, and D.
Motion.
Motion by Christian,
Second.
second by Chad. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Oh, wait,
Oh,
sorry.
Stand by.
oh,
I'm sorry.
what do we got?
You're right.
Before we do the vote.
Yep. Let's see. Who was it again?
Emily Forth on page 16. The teacher assistant.
So on page 16, we were appointing an individual at the top of the page, Emily Forth. She contacted us either just recently, I think it was yesterday, and we got confirmation today. This is good for her. She was being appointed here as a teacher assistant. She took a position in the district as a teacher. So just for consistency's sake, we need to eliminate her from the list there.
Okay,
So make a change.
all right then. So, Christian and Pat, are you okay with?
Yep.
Okay. All right, that change. We will note the change. So we got a motion by Christian, second by Tad, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried.
Thank you
And
for reminding me of that again. No, don't be sorry. I appreciate that.
A whole bunch of paperwork.
Yes, exactly.
we don't want to do that. And item F is our settlement agreement, that we need a motion to approve between the Salamanca City School District and the Consolidated Services Unit for an employee that was discussed in executive session. So we need a motion to approve that.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Tad, second by Brad. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried. And now we can introduce any newly.
All right, Mr. Long, I think you're up.
I am, It's my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Matt Cole. We'd like to welcome him to the Warrior family. Matt has a wealth of business experience spanning over 2 decades. Comes to us as someone who's successfully navigated real estate dealings in business startups, as well as entrepreneurship and helping budding entrepreneurs start their business. Brings a unique blend of practical knowledge and insight into the classroom. He's passionate about empowering the next generation of learners. He's dedicated to providing students with the tools and confidence that they need to thrive in our finance academy and business courses. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Cole to the Warrior family.
Welcome.
Use that school shooter in our exercise,
Oh, there we go.
which I just found out.
Well, that's exciting.
Yes, welcome.
Yes,
Good job.
glad to have you.
Nobody gonna see it?
No, not here.
Okay.
You can say
I
it.
came prepared, and Lloyd
Did you?
did it for me, so I came prepared.
That's awesome.
All right.
I always like to hear it.
Let's hear it.
I do want to thank you guys for this whole process, ever since the phone call came and the opportunity came up. It's truly been an honor and it's been a privilege meeting so many amazing people. And even through my training today, the one thing that just keeps coming up over and over is just how excited people are to be part of this district. My wife and I, this is my wife Lori, our kids went through Allegheny. So of course, we're always competing against Salamanca, so it was always a rival when we had to compete against Salamanca. But it just truly has been a privilege. I will be honest, as Lloyd mentioned, I've been a certified financial coach for almost 10 years now, but I always get to work with adults to help them through typically financial tragedies and just downturns in life and failing businesses. And so one of the things that excites me is to now be able to be on the front end of that, be able to prep high school kids on how to not make those same mistakes. And I'm sure we can all raise our hands and say, if we were in 9th through 12th grade, what would we do differently financially in our lives? And so it's just great to have that viewpoint on seeing so many things, not just in my own personal life, but through so many people I've helped through those seasons. And then just to be able to go back in time and just direct kids in a way that hopefully will empower these kids to not make so many crazy decisions in life financially. And then I'll say that the next piece and what excites me about coming to this district is I had the privilege of working with the Seneca Nation for a number of years. Teresa, you and I had a great relationship. I was asked by the Seneca Nation to restart High Banks Campground back in 2015. And it was a great journey just from a business perspective, but more importantly, it was great for me. I'm from Colorado, spent 20 years out west. So not knowing the Seneca people, it was just great to understand culture, understand language, take language courses, understand just truly just family dynamics. And I think that can play such a huge role, especially in being an educator now. And so just all around, I feel like it's just a great parlay of skills and talents, but also just life navigation and where it's led me to be here. So it really is an honor and a privilege to be part of the Salamanca family. And I'm excited. Already been a few days of training and it really has been, I go home every day now, just completely fulfilled. It's been a fire hydrant kind of mentality, but I'll take it. So I really do thank you guys for having me on board. So.
Thank you. Terrific.
You have anyone else?
No, I think that is it.
That's it.
I do just want to draw your attention to the number of personnel that we not only hired, but also appointed to positions. And you'll hear me talk an awful lot about the work that goes into that, the pages and pages, the interviews, interview after interview after interview, sometimes with students, bringing in teams of teachers. People wonder what our administrators do over the summer. And, this is just one board meeting where we see this much happening as far as new folks coming in or rearrangements. Tomorrow, we do have the first day of our new Warrior Academy, and we're excited that we will see many of these individuals there. And, as we just heard, unfortunately, it is a bit of a overwhelming amount of information that gets provided. But we recognize that. So there will be continuous supports throughout the year because there's only so much that you can absorb at one point in time. And tomorrow we'll find out what that is.
See if they hit their limit.
That's it.
All right, thank you. Item 9 is our board information and reports. So we have a bunch of transfers, people that want to transfer to different positions. Again, we had our second reading of policy 5660, which we did approve. We have our first reading of 45 policies, which I am not going to read down through there because it's in the agenda. We have our capital projects, phase 4 summary report. Reminder, our back to school picnic is August 20th. Was today. Or our menu, I'm sorry, back to school picnic and menu. Can't read anymore, guys. And our upcoming events. Again, we have our new Warrior Academy, the 21st through 23rd. 27th of August is our opening day for staff. The 27th is also the back to school picnic at Prospect Elementary School from 5 to 6:30. We are also having our next Board of Education meeting at Prospect Elementary. So hopefully we can get some food and have our meeting.
There you go.
And then August 28th is our back to school picnic for Seneca and the high school from 5 to 6:30. September 3rd, I think we were talking about earlier, is our first day of school, and September 11th is the next Indigenous Education Committee meeting. So with that, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Brad.
Second.
Second by Tad. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Enjoy the rest of your summer.
Go ahead.